MSME technologies, what we do. Our main focus is on creating technologies that are futuristic, patent them, then license them to corporates. So we have so far about 5 patents filed in India and also in the PCT. And the domains that we are focusing are in energy as well as in healthcare. It is not just only the business focus on creating technologies and licensing. We also wanted to create more innovations coming from India, especially from academic institutes. Today, the Innovation 101 is a very fundamental basic things that we will see. Maybe some of you or most of you very well aware of what is innovation. We will cover the basic fundamentals of innovation, the industry standards, what we call measurement related. This is a benchmarking that you can say what it is, and the same definition maybe everybody will understand. Anything and everything in life, you have to have a purpose. So if we don't have a purpose, then we cannot define properly where to go. What is our purpose? If I am a student, so I want to gain knowledge, I also get a degree. The degree will get me a livelihood. I'll get a job, then I'll make money. The purpose is gaining knowledge. If you take professionally, for example, you take a doctor. Doctor's purpose is to give welfare to people, to give them wellness. In that process, he prescribes drugs, and that drugs he'll make money out of it. Towards achieving that purpose, that will yield you to get cash. That helps you to run your life. The main purpose has to be very clear. So anything that you gain to achieve the purpose will definitely fetch you money to make a living. However, is making money bad? No, it is not. You cannot make a purpose which is to make money. Most of the failed attempts that entrepreneurs are, it fails because the primary purpose is to make money. If it is not a well thought process to achieve the purpose of what they started with, then it fails. Your purpose must be creating value to the people whom you are selling it. Remember, the first step that you wanted to really have a successful innovation is to have a purpose. Making money becomes a byproduct. Eventually, you will get what is due. Now, the problem, where do they come from? If I have to create an idea to solve something, I need to have a problem. If you don't identify the problem properly, right, then we cannot come up with the right solution. So where do they come from? Purposes cannot be problem. How do we define a problem? For example, how do you want to improve the world? There are different ways you can improve the world. One such thing could be end world hunger. It's a noble purpose. There are different ways. People are hungry. So if you produce more grains, then you can get them more food. There is another way. I restrict population. So I will just say that, you cannot have more than one kid, right? That is one way of doing that, so that you will have enough grains to distribute to people who are in the country. The third could be socialism. You take it from the people who have more and give it to people who don't have. That is more political. Yeah, this is one thought of solving the problem. We are not here to say that which is the right way, but we are trying to derive a problem. There are several proposals that you can address. Produce more grains is one way of addressing the problem. And there are many ways to address. The how question will bring the ideas. That could be several ways to produce more grains. So we list them. You must be creative in your ideas. There are several ways you can achieve that purpose with my domain knowledge or my company's interest, produce more grains. One such idea could be, why can't we do more farming? So today we are doing only with 1 acre. If I increase that to 100, so that ratio will become 100-fold and it can produce. You need to analyze. It's a creative idea. It is not that it is a dumb idea. It is, but very obvious. It is a thought, right? People are coming up with a way to address that, right? But is that the most lucrative or the idea which will become an innovation, which we doubt, because it's a very capital intensive. We need to have, first of all, more land to cultivate, and we need to get the manpower as well as other resources to do that. If it were easy, then people would have done it. So you need to find alternate or creative way of finding an idea where, without doing more farming, we will achieve producing more grains. We are scientists, with a different domain knowledge. So what are the things affect to produce more food grains? So seasonal grains, there, if it is more water, it's going to be a problem. If it is less water, it's going to be a problem for the yield. And more sunlight is going to be a problem for some crops. So weather is something which is, if we can come up with an idea to control that, right? So that the desired level we can do, that could be an idea. Waste water, right? Resources. So maybe I can do a drip irrigation, or how do I spread very efficiently which need the plant needs. So that knowledge people consider how is the best way to irrigate. Then somebody else with a chemical background, you need for plants, you need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and those nutrients that we can supply as a supplement. Like humans, we take supplements. So plants need, the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and how I can create fertilizers which will help the plant to produce more yield, so that my production is increased to meet what I need to remove the hunger from the world. So the fourth one could be the weeds which grow along with the plant take the nutrients and it is not allowing, so that my yield is very low, right? So how do you control? Then you used a mechanism or something you add as pesticides or insecticide to do that. The real ideas with the domain knowledge of what you have in today's scenario, right, with the science and technology, which has grown up much advanced level, how can I come up adding that? Like we call that most of the time enabling technology. It is not in the same domain knowledge that it is going to add value. So for example, you take automation. It is a data driven decision. Your big data is nothing but historical data, what it shows and how I can improve, what I can learn, so that I will use my resources in an efficient way, right? That's what we are telling the agriculturist or any other industry that we work on. Automation is another thing. The idea which will lead to innovation basically comes from outside the domain. But what we call that really a creative idea is something which does not exist or it's not trivial, where it makes a unique solution which is going to create value, so that it will be a successful innovation. The middle one is basically what we just mentioned. It could be a vertical farming. In a controlled way, we produce what we want. If you do this in a bigger scale, then that could be a successful innovation. So now I have an idea, right? It's a thought, it's an abstract. But an idea which is not implemented it is nothing. Because we wanted to apply that concept of your idea, whether it works or not. Because at the end of the day, you need to create value by producing something. You need to test it. So you must start testing your ideas, right, for implementation. Once you create that, then what you get is an invention. Inventions are something which are not known before. It is useful. This is basic definition for, when you want to have a patent. It is new and it should have an inventive step. It should not be, very obvious thing. The third thing, it should be useful to somebody. If it is not useful, it is not an invention. So you create idea, and that idea, when you implement and that produces something, that gives me an invention. Because you have a tangible product, you can measure, you can say that this is the benchmark and I have now applied my idea, implemented it, then it is now better and it is useful and people will buy it. In this case, if produces a product and that product and the process can be patented, and now I get an invention. Invention is an important component if you have a science and technology based innovation. We started with a purpose. The purpose gives you a problem to work on. Then you derive creative ideas. That ideas have to be implemented, producing some invention. So that invention could be protected. Others cannot use that. It gives you a right to use it. So anything that we produce, that people should be able to use it, meaning if they want to buy, it should be affordable. I cannot keep it very pricey. And you need to have that thought in your mind. It is a wonder product, but if people cannot afford to buy, then that is not going to make an impact in your sales or generating revenue. So it should be affordable and it should be scalable. And the most important thing, you go back to your first bullet point, what we started with, the purpose is very important. Because if the product, process, or the service meets the purpose of your customer, then they will definitely buy, but it should be affordable and it should be scalable. If you are able to meet all this, then you'll be sell this product, process, or service. So innovation is not a single event. Innovation is a process. It involves several components and it involves several teams. It's a team effort. You need to bring all those aspects to make it work. I have an idea. I cannot call that an innovation. I have to have other aspects, other people to work together, because it's a process starting from the purpose, right? From the customer need, you have a problem definition. That problem gives me ideas to collect, And that idea can lead, if you implement and show that it works, we get an opportunity to get an invention, and that can be protected by patenting it. If you are in science and technology, which is important aspect of it, important step, that you should protect your technology before you talk about outside forums with other people. Very important component of all this, if you want to make idea to an innovation, commercialization is very important. You need to generate revenue from your idea. If you don't, it stops with invention. We have a patent, it ends there. It cannot, or it will not become an innovation, right? So if to summarize that, we can just, this is what innovation, very simple words. Successfully executed ideas will lead to innovation. How? You start with a purpose. The purpose will lead to a problem statement, and the creative way of coming up with an idea will have to be implemented to produce invention. And when you commercialize, then you get innovation. So basically, a creative idea which will produce invention with the commercial aspects will get you innovation in a very simple, not very complicated way. So if you keep that simple aspects of it, you can really produce a successful innovation, right? With any field that you are working on, and discuss with others, bring people together with the different domains, and you can achieve it. The reason after we put that collaboration is a must for getting very, very efficient and better solution. So open innovation is a way lots of successful companies demonstrated not only their own technology, working with other companies' technologies for a common purpose can produce much improved efficient innovations. So everybody wins, everybody generates revenue. So in this example, what we saw is you have different domains. The ideas could come from a weathering aspect, or a fertilizer aspect, or irrigation, or diseases, right? For the plant to produce more. So with this interlinked and interconnected, thing can be worked with other people, meaning the domain knowledge from chemistry, biology, physics, engineering experts can produce interdisciplinary solution, really develop a superior solution for the problem. Within your domain, you still need to get help from others to make an idea be a successful innovation. But if you extend that to an interdisciplinary solution, it should be much effective. Collaboration as a team to work on problems to produce successful innovation is the way that we should aim. You can take any questions, and if you have any comments, please share. We're starting with this basic fundamental innovation definitions, I would say, or aspects of it. Then in a smaller pockets, different aspects in different expertise, we will have webinars. So IEL technology is open to work with anybody, because our basic fundamental principle is we wanted to find answers for in the world's technology problems. In that process, we wanted to develop partners so we can bring people together so that we can solve the world's problems much effectively and efficiently. Thanks you for listening and spending time with us.